Hey, what's up guys, just as Boost here and welcome back to another One Piece deck profile. Today we're taking a look at what I think is the best purple deck in the current format, which actually, it's not Kaido, or Blurple Kaido, or Blurple Croc, but actually Megallan. Because he's actually just as strong as Whitebeard, because he also has 6000 power, except only on your turn and only when you return a Dun to the Dun deck, so maybe it's not quite as strong as Whitebeard, but it does have quite a good matchup into Whitebeard because it can pump itself up to 6k without needing a Dun under it, so that's pretty nice. And honestly, it does have quite some decent matchups going into the format, so I definitely think it is one of the more underrated decks in the format. I did make top cut, I think, 2 or 3 times already in this format, and it's pretty, you know, not very well represented, so I definitely think that it's better than it seems. But yeah, without any further ado, let's check out the deck list. Alright, hopping into the deck profile, we of course have the leader Megallan, which actually got an erratum, and it says when your turn once per turn, when a Dun card is returned from the field to the deck, or to the Dun deck I should say. So it's not just when, as it says on the card, when the Dun card is returned to your Dun deck, because it actually also works if your opponent does it. Which is pretty cool in something like the mirror match, or when you're playing against Kaido or another purple deck basically. But yeah, then for the 1-drops we have of course the full playset of Hannibal. It's just the one called Searcher for the deck. If you go first, you actually, a play you pretty often do is go like, swing with this for 5 and then put 3 Dun under this on the second turn and swing with this as well, just because you're playing a pretty aggro deck, but of course it's just the Searcher, look at the top 5 and add the impulse down cards. So it can also be event, doesn't have to be a character. It has plus 1000 counter. And honestly, the only matchup you don't really want to be playing this in is the Smoker matchup, for obvious reasons. But yeah, this card's just obvious staple. Then I'm also playing the full playset of Domino. It's just a searchable blocker, plus 1000 counter. It is a little bit worse than the Kurozumi blocker from the Kaido deck. But this one is just searchable, which makes it better, and honestly the plus 1000 stat shouldn't really come up that often. Yeah, not much to say about that either. Then for 3 draws we have the full playset of the little Sadie. This says on play you can play a Jailer Beast type character from your hand, so you can play either Minotaur or Koala, which are both pretty good cards we were playing at full as well. And it's also 2000 counter, which is again searchable, which is very nice. And just really helps your aggro as well. Like if you go first, and on turn 1 you play Hannibal, and on turn 2 you go like Sadie, play out something like Minotaur, and then on turn after that you can just try to go for a lot of damage, which is very, very nice. Then the other 3 costs I'm playing is Sasaki. I know I've seen some lists playing the Jack as well, which is on play you can discard a card to get a Dun, but I think this one's just a little bit better because it has 2000 counter power. And that's usually what you would use it for, but honestly effects where with a Dun on attack you can trash a card to set a Dun from your Dun deck rested is also pretty good, but it's mostly just a 2k counter, to be honest, but still relatively good card which you do play every once in a while. Then I already mentioned it, but we're playing just the full places of the Minotaur and the Mino Koala. Next set we're getting some new Jailer Beasts, which is very nice, but for now we have the blocker one, and this one has double attack, and they both say on KO. You can put a Dun card from your Dun deck as rested, which helps you ramp a little bit, which definitely needs the little bit of ramp because you are playing a lot of cards that, you know, return Dun to your Dun deck. And this is just very good to pressure, and this is just a 5k blocker, which is nice. And you also use it to attack with pretty often. So yeah, also pretty stable. Then this is a card I've not seen every Megallan list play, but I'm playing double Shiryu of the Rain, or just Shiryu I guess. Mostly it is a 1000 counter, which is nice, and it's mostly used in the LoL matchup because, you know, they're playing a lot of 1-cost blockers, and this guy says for Dun -1 you can KO 1-cost character, or 0 cost I guess potentially, because it says 1 or less. And it definitely has come up in playtesting against LoL, and even in matchups, you know, where it doesn't shine as much. Green do also play the Badgie, blue also has some 1-cost blockers. So it's just searchable, which is very nice. so I'm a pretty big fan of the card. And then I'm also playing a double Uta. I'm pretty sure everybody knows what this does. It's the blocker that says unblock. You can basically rest a 5-cost character, and it's just pretty important for a defensive aspect of the game, which you will usually, you know, need to defend yourself in the late game. Then for 5 costs, X-Drake. It's mostly just a 2k counter, let's be real, so I'm not gonna spend too much time talking about that, but sometimes you have to play it when you want to go a little bit aggro, and you don't have access to better 5 costs, like for example Queen. Yeah, literally nothing to say about this card, right? It's just basically one of the best purple cards in general. 6k blocker, always nice, has counter power, it helps you dig to your pieces. Very, very powerful. And then basically the star of the deck, which is 5-cost Megallan, which really shines in specifically the Whitebeard matchup, because they really want to drop that 9-cost Whitebeard on curve, and this basically just prevents them from doing that. But it's also very good against stuff like green, because they really want to out your board. That's basically what the deck revolves around, but they can't really out this in the early game, because then they basically set themselves back a turn. Because on opponent's turn, when this character is KO'd, they have to return 2 dumb decks from their field to the dumb deck. So yeah, definitely the star of the show. And you'll see I'm not playing the Impel Down stage, but it might be worth it to play it, just because having multiples of this is very, very strong. It's basically like a win condition. I've tested it, but it was just a little bit too inconsistent, basically. There were just a lot of turns or games where sometimes I played and I just literally never used the effect, so it's basically a shame. Then 6-drop, I'm playing Triple King, which is the one that pops 4 cost. If Zoro becomes even more popular or is very popular in your area, then you might consider playing the 7-drop King as well. That's definitely a good card, but the Zoro matchup is pretty good anyway, so I definitely think just playing this one is pretty good, and yeah, it's just removal, which is very nice. And then the last character we're playing is just 3 of the 9-drop Kaido, which is the one that KOs a 6 cost and as well as gets rush for -5, which is basically your game finisher. But sometimes if you do have access to a lot of the Jailer Beasts, you can get to this pretty early and just do a lot of pressure. And dropping this while you have 2 of the Jailer Beasts on field is very strong as well, because the setback with the -down isn't as bad as it usually is. So yeah, this card is just very strong. And then the last 4 cards are 4 events, which is just 4 of the Judgment of Hell. Probably the best event card in the game, to be honest, so yeah. And it's also searchable on this deck, which is very nice. At this moment I'm not playing any other event cards, but I definitely think something like Blast Breath or Thunder Bagua are also very strong events, but I don't really think they fit like the theme of the deck where you want to go just as aggro as possible, basically. But this card is just too good not to play. So yeah, that is the list. Alright guys, that was the deck list. Please let me know your thoughts about the deck. Let me know about your deck cards in this specific deck, or any decks you want to be seeing on the channel in the future. Be sure to leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't yet. And if you do, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.